This episode of Techno Buffalo is brought to you by Squarespace. What is a Colt? That's C-O-L-T, the horse, not C-U-L-T, the thing that people ascribe to when they're kind of in trouble. What does a Colt have to do with the future of BlackBerry? Why is Amazon buying up domain names like Kindle Air? Are the first Google ice cream sandwich phones coming out in October? And if so, is it to combat the release of iPhone 5? So you couldn't get through even the opening without an iPhone 5 rumor mention. Why? Because the show's about rumors. It's Rumor Roundup from Techno Buffalo. Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome to the Roundup. My name's Noah Kravitz. I'm the editor-at-large for Techno Buffalo, and this is Rumor Roundup for the week ending today, Friday, August 12th, 2011. This week's episode of Techno Buffalo Rumor Roundup is brought to you by our friends at Squarespace. Meantime, rumors this week that BlackBerry, Research in Motion, BlackBerry, hard at work on their first QNX-based smartphone, codenamed Colt. Now, if you've been following the mobile phone world, you know this has not been a good year for BlackBerry. Everybody from me to that other guy at Techno Buffalo have been talking a lot about how BlackBerry's in big trouble, the whole co-CEO model, under scrutiny, etc., etc. The one bright spot has been their next generation operating system, QNX, which is now available on the BlackBerry Playbook tablet. Even though that tablet had a few problems of its own, the operating system actually pretty good to use, pretty cool, and a lot of people would love to see that on a BlackBerry smartphone. Well, rumors from earlier this week say that the first QNX-based smartphone, the Colt, is well into production, or at least into research and development phase, and BlackBerry wants to push it into production sooner than later, but they're having problems with it. First of all, they can only get the system running, supposedly, on a single-core processor-based hardware and not a dual-core phone. And as you know, if you follow the mobile phone space, dual-core phones are all the rage. BlackBerry really needs a high-end flagship phone to capture some new mindshare, as well as keep the BlackBerry faithful loyal to the brand. Second problem, which is an even bigger deal, is apparently they're having a lot of problems getting QNX to play right with BlackBerry Enterprise Server and BlackBerry Messaging Service, which are two of, I mean, really, that's BlackBerry's bread and butter right there. If they can't get it working with BES or BBM, all kinds of problems. So stay tuned for that. Again, it's good to see BlackBerry kind of ramping up production of the smartphone. They know they have to do something to stay in the game and keep competing with the likes of iPhone, Android, and possibly Windows Phone 7 and Palm. I keep saying Palm, WebOS HP, if they can get their act together as well. But QNX, big part of it. They got to get BBM and BES working. Speaking of the smartphone wars and those two phones I mentioned that everybody's trying to catch up with or just stay in the game with at this point, Google and Apple, Android and iOS, threatening to turn the global smartphone market into a two-horse race. And before you start laughing, before you start calling me a fanboy, look at some of the recent numbers. I'm just talking numbers, I'm just talking momentum. A lot of the world not yet on smartphones, but the way things are going, the majority of the world could be on either an Android-based smartphone or an iOS smartphone. And speaking of that war, this fall it heats up again with the likely introduction of Apple's next generation iPhone, the iPhone 5, or whatever it's going to be called, and the next breed of Android-based devices running Google's ice cream sandwich build of Android. Well, some rumors this week that Google is working with partners to push up the release of the first ice cream sandwich devices to this October. Why? To compete with iPhone 5, which everybody's expecting now to be introduced and released in the early October timeframe. Ice Cream Sandwich was previewed, talked about, teased at Google I/O a few months ago. Apple has not officially talked about the next iPhone, but iOS 5 has already been announced, currently out in beta phone, will be coming out in the fall. Everybody's expecting new hardware to go with it. And so it would make sense that Google would want to roll out the first ice cream sandwiches devices to keep people either loyal to the Android platform or even to head them off from buying an iPhone 5 if they can get those devices to market before Apple gets their new iPhones to market. Either way, looks like you'll see some new iPhones, some new Google-based Android phones, some ice cream sandwiches, some horses, I guess, from BlackBerry, some mango from Windows Phone, who knows what else. on store shelves in time for you to pick one up and put it under your Christmas tree or Hanukkah bush or wherever it is you put your presents when winter rolls around. Squarespace is the fast and easy way to create a high-quality blog, portfolio, or any kind of website. If you have questions or need help, Squarespace provides every member with amazing support, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Start your website or blog by choosing from over 60 professionally designed templates. That's what, 5 dozen? I think 5 dozen. And then add content from your computer, iPhone, or iPad. Squarespace's mobile apps allow you to easily add entries and manage comments from anywhere. Many of the internet's highest traffic web pages are powered by Squarespace, not to mention many of the personal pages of Revision 3 hosts and personalities. Check out www.squarespace.com to get a 2-week free trial and 10% off when you sign up in August. Just enter the coupon code TECHNO8. That's TECHNO8, T-E-C-H-N-O, the numeral 8. Don't write the word 8, A-T-E, that's not going to work. TECHNO8. And last but certainly not least, Amazon has been buying up domain names. According to reports this week and Whois domain registry information, Amazon has purchased the domains KindleAir.com, KindleSocialNetwork.com, and KindleSocialNetworking.com. Why? Well, that's why we're here, right? To make rumors out of domain names. Could Amazon be prepping something called the Kindle Air, an even thinner, lighter, just begging to be sued by Apple's lawyers version of the Kindle? Honestly, probably not. I mean, Kindle's already thin, it's already light, and launching a product called Kindle Air would really be begging Apple to file a lawsuit, especially based on the way Apple's been, treating the court system and their competitors lately. That being said, Amazon also just launched their Kindle Cloud Reader service. So they've got a whole cloud thing, Air thing going on. I don't know, I guess there could be a Kindle Air that's based on all sorts of cloud services. And we've been speculating for months about an Amazon tablet coming that's not just an e-reader, but actually an Android-based tablet that will probably link into all of those cloud services, media services, including Amazon's Music Locker and their streaming video services and all that kind of stuff. So who knows? But Kindle Air, Kindle Social Network, Kindle Social Networking, apparently all registered recently to Amazon. Remains to be seen. Maybe they're just trying to outdo Apple at Apple's own game, registering domains, doing kind of controlled leak things to create a big buzz. It certainly worked for Apple. Apple's backed it up with products that people want to buy. Then again, Amazon's been doing well selling Kindle, selling everything else under the sun for that matter. So maybe they're, maybe they're trying to get into the whole consumer electronics hardware game, tablets that is, not just e-readers, by following a viral marketing strategy, if you will, that's worked for Apple. Remains to be seen. Stay tuned. All right, that'll do it for this week's edition of the Roundup. Again, thanks to our friends at Squarespace for sponsoring this episode of Techno Buffalo's Rumor Roundup. Every Friday, you get the week's biggest and juiciest rumors right here, in addition to our other 2 shows on Mondays and Wednesdays, Ask the Buffalo and What's the Apps with our own John Rettinger and John Quatch. For Rumor Roundup, for Techno Buffalo, for everybody, I'm Noah Kravitz. Much more on all the stories we talked about today and everything else going on in the world of tech over on technobuffalo.com. Till next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Or whatever it is.